Needham boys volleyball had a chance at the top seed in the D1 South bracket late in the season before dropping a tight 5-set match to Natick. That loss ultimately forced the Rockets to have to settle for the number 2 seed in the bracket. However, that late May loss could prove to be just what the head coach Dave Powell needed to get his team laser focused for a tournament run. Here is Chris Dugan with the highlights of their quarterfinal matchup against BC High.
First set, Needham has an early 2-point lead and junior Jack Klein makes it 3 as he gets up on the outside to block Ethan Phillips. And later in the first set, Will Bandler on the outside now takes the set from Damon Wang, and his hit is deflected out for the point. Shortly after, Wang goes right back to Bandler, who smashes a hit, and that, well, gives him reason to flex on those guys. Eagles try to battle back. Michael Kerrigan's first hit is blocked, but he gets a second go at it, and he makes the second chance count. And then BC High goes to their outside hitter, Ethan Lunny, and he has a booming hit and a kill that cuts the deficit back under 10. Rockets just too powerful in the set, though, as Lunny looks for another kill, but instead he gets a block right back in the face, courtesy of Owen Fanning. And then later in the set, Wang with a back set to Fanning. The sophomore shows off his power as Needham takes the first set 25-8. Second set, Rockets soar quickly again with an 8-1 lead. They go outside to Klein, and look at the combination of power and placement by the junior. And then from outside to inside as Wang sets Joe Shamoon. The Eagles tip it, but they don't get quite enough. Now the middle of the set, Eagles keep Bandler's floater alive. Some good defensive play, but they can't get it past Luke Van Putten in the middle. And not only can Van Putten block, but he also has a whopper of a hit as he smacks a kill from the middle, and his buddy in the middle beside him, Shamoon, well, he comes and closes out the set with a kill that is tipped by BC High. Rockets take a 2-0 lead into the third set. In the final set, Wang teams up with Klein again to extend the early lead, making it 13-5. The Eagles make it competitive, but the Rockets always have an answer in this one, using their outside game to perfection. Bandler picks up another kill on the far side, and late in the set, Fanning once again unleashes his cannon with a booming hit down the line that sends the Eagles backpedaling. And to close it out, Wang sets Bandler on the outside again. Eagles cannot keep that in bounds, and Needham with a clean sweep in the quarterfinals as they best BC High in set scores of 25-8, 25-12, and 25-17. They move on to the semifinals to play a familiar playoff foe, Newton South, who knocked off the 3 seed North Quincy. The game between the Lions and Rockets is scheduled for Friday, June 7th at 5 p.m. at Needham High School.
So last year, Needham Girls Lacrosse was a 7 seed in the D1 South sectional, but this year they were back in a familiar top 3 standing. With yet another potential semifinal battle with Notre Dame Academy on the horizon, the Rockets first need to take care of business on home turf. But first, at a first-round game against the number 14 seed, Bridgewater-Raynham. Let's go to Chris Dugan for the highlights.
2 minutes into the game, Needham already up 1-0. Lexi Schmalz picks off a pass, winds her way through traffic, and scores despite having her goggles knocked off to make it 2-0. A minute later, Abby Dadio down near the side of the net. She passes out front to Dana Fernandez, and the senior whips home a goal. The Trojans get there first, but the Rockets counter immediately as Dadio with another pass out front. This time it's to Schmalz, and that's an easy goal. Later, Needham forces BR to throw it away. It's another turnover, and immediately the Rockets go into transition. Elena Oberly to Dadio, up to Grace Kelly, and the second-year player puts it home. Needham has 5 goals in the first 4 minutes. Midway through the half now, the Rockets lead 6-3. Dadio brings it down, passes back to Maeve Barker, and the fellow senior and captain fires in her first goal of the game. Less than a minute later now, Barker scoops up the loose ball, passes ahead to Kelly, and that's too good of an opportunity for her to miss. And then Barker works a little give-and-go action with Oberly before once again finding Kelly for her 4th goal of the game. The Rockets are in complete control. Under 10 minutes now in the half. Barker curls from behind the net, passes to Schmalz, falling right behind her, and she goes underhand for the tally. Late in the half, Schmalz, well, she repays the favor. She drives from the top, tosses to Barker, who turns and pops in the goal. You can guess that the second half was a similar story as the Rockets controlled this one from start to finish and win by a final of 19-8. Their next opponent is Duxbury, and that game will be on Friday, June 7th at 4 p.m. on Memorial Field.